used to read the stats off to the really bitter black women about how black men are in their child's life, because we are.
Right.
You know, studying for the test, going to events. We're there like more than any other race. But you know what we're not there for?
What?
In the house. When it probably matters the most.
Yeah.
The discipline that you can't get from a father who you got. I'm gonna call your dad. You just can't get it from when you walk in the house and they get on code.
And let me add to that. When I was teaching school, there was this little girl that would give me hell every day. Every day. Whenever I gave them a list of instructions, she would do the opposite. I was like, I'm not gonna say her name, but put away your book bag. You see how everybody else in the classroom put away their book bag? And she just would, every day she would just not follow instructions. And we took her to the school counselor. What the school counselor said was very telling. The school counselor told me, the school counselor told me, Mr. Stewart, she likes you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She told me she's tired of going to a home full of women. She wants male attention. So you are the outlet. She knows if she acts up, you will show her attention.
Wow.
And it kind of made me sad, because I'm thinking, okay, she's doing that with me. Some of these other girls are becoming hypersexual.
No, when you said that, I said, dang, she doesn't have a clear outlet to love a man.
Or to be loved by a man.
Or to be loved by a man in a safe way.
Right.
In a safe way.
Thank you for making that distinction.
Yes, because in my family there's a lot of women. But my brother, I'm happy to use my brother for example. He has 3 girls, and those girls love him. He is also a boy, but those girls love him. And I realize he hugs and kisses on them and stuff like that. And whenever they have something to talk about, he talks to them about it. But it gives his oldest a chance to hug and get that masculine feel. Because I was when I was younger, I was a little afraid about that type of stuff. It's like, dang, you don't want to have and everybody, you don't want a hoe, whatever the case may be. And we don't know, and it's two routes. One is a hoe is because she wants man attention. And one is a liberated woman who just enjoys sex and
being reckless with her body.
I'm not gonna go that deep. Recklessness. I would say, for example,
I just feel like this whole culture, and people are very sanctimonious with it, and I think people act like it comes from this higher principled space. And I think that some of it.
So here's the funny thing. So I mean, I like sex. Who doesn't like sex? What we're trying to, I guess, real quick, going off tangent a little bit, is that it's whether or not people who really enjoy sex is it like bad? To me, I don't think it's bad if you're safe. I think, like, for example, I read a story. I love science. We love science. A lot of the so-called hoes with women, for example, that through autopsy, they have found more nerve endings in the vagina of women who are so-called hoes. So that means that their pleasure that they receive from men is way more than a regular woman. It's not to say that you have to that makes them a hoe, but it gives you a good reason to be like, I like sex.
Okay, well let me say something. If you look at from ancient Rome to ancient Greece, a lot of empires fell. Their descent started with lack of self-control sexually.
Actually, what's funny, it didn't start with there. That's one of the issues.
That's what I'm saying. It was one of them.
Most of these issues came about, most of these places failed because of liberalism.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's what I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I find it interesting, because that's what we're going to now. Is this fluid gender? There's no man, no women.
Right.
And it's not to say that these things aren't like good ideas. It's to say that it is atypical of human nature. And that's what we're learning, is that for civilization to exist, order has to exist.
Yes. And it's like people don't want order. They just
standards and order. Let's real quick. Let's pivot toward the Monique thing.
Okay.
Talking about masculine and feminine. Monique with the bonnets. She came in as feminine as I could imagine. Talked it as smoothly as possible. She didn't want to anger nobody. And the backlash was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because my issue is this, because that's nothing for me to get into or get out of. But the issue that I did find with that is that it's like standards. Having standards is too close to slavery in too many people's minds.
Yeah, because people want to do what they want to do.
They want to do what they want to do, and
not have no consequences.
That's why in the NOI, That's why they can march together, wear the same clothes, they have everybody, because they have order. With order, you can build more with order, because not too many people are clashing. You can come in and say, we need to build this farm, and we'll build the farm. Men and women would get up in there to do what they need to do, not like, oh, it's the men's job. No, it's order. We have that set up to who does what.
And that's why China is kicking everybody.
China's China's about to be the future, man. There's no question. Have you not seen 1,000 kids practicing kung fu at one time? It's over with for us. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got. I mean, it's too. We have.
And they're really adept with science and mathematics.
I read this the other day. I want to say there's like 10 times or 5 times as many PhDs coming out of China than there is America.
Wow.
Now, of course, some people's like, yeah, it's 5 times as many people also. That's true. That's true. But there's still 5 times as many PhDs. So imagine if you're a PhD from America. That means you have 5 times less of a chance to get in a job because somebody else has it. And you ain't even talk about India, another billion plus nation.
Yeah.
So these are, with that being said, is that competition is what we're really getting to. Is that we're not able to compete. Let's go back to relationship. I know I'm over the place here, but I want to get back to that.
Go ahead.
When I said about courtship, men aren't courting correctly and women aren't courting correctly. I said that. I put that out there for the sense of like I said, of building, of community, of nation building. These are tenets of it. This requires, for example, as a guy, I can't just be out anywhere. I'll have to call in and check in. I mean, as a woman, you just can't show anybody attention. You have to stop for a second and make sure you don't go too far, regardless of how you think it should be. It's the respect and the boundaries of your relationship, nation. And you know, like we just said, man, there's too many other countries out there who got it, who understand what it means to do that.
And it's funny. One of some people say it's false, that it didn't exist, or that it was just something that was made up or whatever. But you had something called the Protocols of the Elders Design, and it's like a book, a little pamphlet, and in it, one of the things that they said, one of the best ways to destroy people is to cut off their ability to reproduce. And they said, we want to turn your men into women and your women into men. They said that. You know what I'm saying?
That's going on in our community today.
Yeah, and that's what I'm speaking to. Like, this stuff is playing out in real time.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, you don't need everybody to do it. You just need a subset of people. Like, for example, the people don't know, they only took 3% of the people to start the American Revolution.
Didn't know that.
3%. That's why they call it 3%ers.
Okay, didn't know that.
3% to start a revolution. You don't need that many people to destroy a nation or to build a nation, because the rest of the people are happy to go to work and go home and complain. You know, a few small amount of people willing to do the work in to change what's going on. So you don't need many people. That's why I was saying, we said earlier in the social media construct, is that there's people who aren't qualified to have these conversations, yet they're able to influence everybody else. You know, and it's interesting because I don't like when people say they do research, because they have not done research. What they have done is they've found things that
substantiate their bias.
And then they go off of that. To me, research would be, hey, do you have a fundamental understanding about the subject that you're speaking of? Meaning, you know what you're talking about and what part of the conversation you're talking about, where you fall short at, and who are the experts in these fields. Because you're not going to be an expert in something and you just saw what to eat the other day, now you're an expert in nutrition. You're not.
What's nutrition?
But yeah, so yeah, and it's interesting. I also want to say one more thing too.
What's up?
Is I don't believe there's toxic masculinity. Because if it's just toxic people.
Right.
The same way there's no such thing as toxic femininity. You just need the toxic.
Hey, but you said something about toxic femininity earlier.
I did say, that's why I wanted to make sure I'm clearing myself up. Is that I really do believe there's no such thing as toxic femininity or toxic masculinity. It's just toxic people.
Right.
To be masculine is not to be toxic. You can't be over.
But that's what's sold to us.
Huh?
That's what's sold to us. I feel like the new demarcation now is masculinity by default is toxic.
Yes, bullshit.
But the thing that pisses me off is a lot of these people who are the main ones complaining about toxic masculinity. they use masculinity again to the extent that it's beneficial to them.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I don't even blame the baby for thinking and being how he is, because he's probably been sexualized. He's probably his socialization has been.
Yeah.
What did you? And you told me this earlier. A lot of women seem to like men who can control other men.
Yeah.
And who are desirable from other women, desired by other women.
Men who control men are desired by women.
Also, women that desire them make them more desirable.
Yeah, it's a loop.
Yeah, so to me, it's almost like, what they call it in the antebellum South, they call them bucks.
So we're talking about like buck breaking?
Before that, though, I'm just saying, just specifically being a buck. So my thing is, you're attracted to these attributes. I like his sexuality. I like his strength.
He's tall.
And yeah, I like, he makes me feel protected. He pleases me. So my thing is, you basically turned him into an inanimate object.
Right.
You like him to the extent that he serves you.
We objectified. They don't talk about the objectification of men. It's
at all.
Like, I remember I seen a meme, and I hate to talk about memes, where they say for women, was it you can't get this body type from a woman or something. Like, what is it called? Like Barbies and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, you can't get this body type. And it's like, you don't do that to guys. But I remember growing up with like He-Man and these big muscular ass dudes looking at WWF and stuff.
Right.
Like, what are y'all guys talking about? Like, the objectification of men is just the same. When you say, like, I seen the one that was like, I seen another meme that said, you don't like black women, dark-skinned women, you just like them when they oiled up and something. I'm like, okay. So when y'all say y'all like black men, you're not talking about the crackhead, busted dudes over here. You're talking about Idris Elba and all these handsome men. Like, we understand that beauty and looks are a thing. You can't play around with this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just once again, I think a lot of the stuff that we, especially on social media, it's just for fun. But the problem is, nobody knows where the for real part starts. You know? Exactly.
That's why I think it's dangerous.
It's super. It's developed for you to have. Like I always said, internet is like a 12-year-old at the adolescent. They're not gonna have anything really mature to say or do. They have a pretty good understanding of the world, but they're gonna always default to some joke. They're gonna always default to some idea that's not fully thought about.
Right.
They're controlled by their emotions. Like, that's what kids do. That's what the internet is. It's just a little kid, and people latch on to that. That's why people can't read past two sentences before this. I'm not reading all of that.
Right.
If you ain't reading all of that, you're not reading a whole paper. You're not reading a whole excerpt. You're not reading books. Your attention spans are too short to understand our issues. We're talking about masculinity and femininity, and not one time did we define it. So how can we even have these conversations, or true conversations?
But let me add to that. Dr. Naeem Akbar actually, I can't remember which book it was, but he basically said a lot of us are living for pleasure. You know, it's like a lot of people are looking for their next dopamine hit. You know, whether it be getting a like or getting drunk or getting high or sex.
Absolutely.
And I feel like a lot of people are in this constant pursuit of pleasure. So the hard questions are not being asked. You know, what is it? Just
can't cope with it. They can't cope with a little bit of struggle. Yeah, with a little bit. People can't cope with a little bit of struggle. They just can't. You have any speed bump, and they just fall apart. That's why we have all these people who have all these ideas, these grand ideas that don't follow through.
Perseverance is lacking.
They don't have any perseverance because they don't have the discipline to continue to do things, even if if they don't see what's it called expectation. Dang, I can't think of the word right now. But you know how people want something right now.
Just instant gratification.
Instant gratification. I've been going to the gym for 6 months now. I don't have
a little cut, a little push up.
I don't. And now when I watch those fitness social medias, you know, get fit in 30 days and 45 days and stuff like that, I realize that, like I said, it's there so they can get you into their money. Like, most people stop after a week or two. This means that all they want to do, because all they want to do is get you in their program for a few days, make a few $100s off you, and keep the train going. Because if you think you about to get in 30 days, you about to have this body, you about to be rudely awakened.
But what is it? I looked up the word entertainment, and one of the synonyms was distraction. and I realized, like,
Yeah.
a lot of people are their reality is essentially shaped by what they see, you know, and they're expecting this quick montage of, I did the workout for a week and I should be at the height of health, and it's like, no, that
ain't how
people don't want to do the work.
Same thing with money, finances, same with relationships. Everything requires you to struggle for some time before you get there. That's why everybody is not there, because nobody's willing to struggle.
Or
not a lot of people
Douglas say, "There's no progress without struggle."
No progress without struggle. In fact, struggle is the main tenet in revolution, in the revolutionary
epoch.
Yeah, it's struggle. That's literally what we built everything off of. Is that you're gonna ask for something and they're gonna say fucking no. You don't say, well, they said no, let's get on out of here. No, you gotta find a new way to try to get your goal. And that's been going on for hundreds of years. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop today, tomorrow, nothing. This means that you got to have some type of discipline in your mind and the ability to be creative enough to try to get past these hurdles so that you can get to whatever you think you want to get to, relationship-wise.
Personal development.
Exactly. And it's too many people, like I said, in today's world that just loves to get the dopamine hit of talking. That's it. Your relationship sucks because you haven't learned what it means to be a woman or what it means to be a man.
And to be a partner.
And it's not even, I don't believe in a partnership. You're either going to be your wife.
No. But understand, when I say partner, I mean in the sense of being in a relationship and being, what you want to be husband, wife, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend. Being in a committed relationship and knowing how to be supportive.
See, and that's another thing that when I hear stuff like that, it's too many. To me, there's too many examples that people know how to do these things, but why aren't
we're hella selfish?
Yeah, but why aren't we?
We're hella selfish.
For example, let's do the single mother's household thing. You know how to be a partner or at least a parent, because you don't do crap to you think about your child. You think about their well-being. Hello, you can think about my well-being. You think about what they're gonna eat.